Next I'm going to go back and then forward in two time machines. One is purely scientific and will be called the history of humans as intelligent primates, and the other is partly moral and partly theological. So let's get on board the moral time machine first, starting from the present and possible future, and follow the journey in the form of a logical argument. If Jesus didn't rise from the dead, then you have to assume that there is no resurrection for me or you, and no future kingdom of God on earth, when there is supposed to be a mass resurrection of millions. The prototype must precede the production model. If there is no future kingdom of God, then any form of afterlife, heaven, paradise, another time and dimension, or whatever you want to call it, is rendered redundant. There is no point in existing in some form of temporary afterlife when there is no future, permanent and everlasting kingdom. The traditional idea of heaven as a place of instant reward and hell as a place of instant punishment has been examined in another video and is not taught in the Bible. Instant reward or instant punishment has all the appearances of being taught in the Bible, but if you examine the subject closely, you will find that biblical eschatology is all about a future kingdom on earth for physical beings, not a heavenly realm of spirits and disembodied souls. When I use the expression afterlife, it has nothing to do with the traditional view of heaven or hell. If there is no afterlife, at least for children, then this life is the cruelest possible life. There is no supernatural realm of any kind, and every child that dies without reaching maturity is not only a wasted life, but also the starkest reminder of one of the greatest immoralities on earth. If we do live in the cruelest possible world, then either there is a God who is a cruel God with no regard for what he has created, or there is no God at all. Nobody wants a cruel God, so God doesn't exist. No resurrection, no God. By travelling through this theological and moral maze, you can now see how the existence of a God and the resurrection of Jesus are dependent on each other. You cannot have a resurrection without God, and you cannot have a God without hope of a better life, and therefore a resurrection. The resurrection therefore becomes the pivotal point of the history of mankind and the whole reason for creation. Therefore, the logical conclusion of this brief journey is inevitable. No resurrection equals no point in anything. We must now change vehicles and step aboard the scientific time machine. Strangely, the scientific time machine produces the same result as the theological and moral one, as there is no place for the supernatural in scientific inquiry. There can be no resurrection, and therefore no future for humans. But let us step aboard anyway and see where we go. Humans can be traced back to a common ancestor of the ape family many millions of years ago, at what is sometimes called the hairpin bend. Apes went one way and future humanoids went another. This split was not obvious at the time, apart from the fact that it would have been caused by some environmental change, which in turn was caused by climatic or dramatic changes, meaning that each part of the hairpin had to adapt differently to the surroundings in order to survive. Put very basically, one family of apes stayed in the trees and another family didn't. Going even further back in the time machine will bring us to a time when there were no animals at all, just vegetation on land and a sea full of strange creatures, which didn't really look like fish as we know them today. We could go back even further, but by now you will have got the message that I'm talking about evolution and its partner natural selection, both supported by mountains of evidence. Unfortunately, no amount of evidence is going to cure your child of cancer and automatically send him or her to another life better than this one. In the realm of science, we are no more than intelligent primates with no reason to be here and no future apart from the replication of 50% of our genes to another primate. Now let's go forward to the future. You can research the scientific future of the universe as much as you wish, but you will discover that as far as the Earth is concerned, it has no future apart from extinction. This assumption is based on all the present laws of physics. Even if you don't wish for any particular future for yourself, you still have to wonder at the futility of a world teeming with life, but with no future for your children and their children, apart from permanent extinction. The sun will destroy the Earth by turning into a supernova. I admit that this short journey in the scientific time machine has been very simple, perhaps even simplistic. But as you have probably gathered by now, I am not a scientist. I am simply following a certain pathway to its logical conclusion. Science equals no God, no supernatural, no miracles, no resurrection, no living forever, no future. Or science equals no point in anything. Why is the result the same?